सहन्नाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। न गुरोरधिगं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिगं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। So continuing the argument with the illustration of the Ghatakasha, the almost near to what you experience as the Jiva is nothing but Ghatakasha, which nobody has created. It was there at all times. Nobody has created Ghatakasha. Nobody has created Jiva. Jiva is not born, said before only. Jiva is never born. So, what is that Jiva we are talking about? It is again a misconception of the light of consciousness falling in the mind and intellect. We have seen this before. Jiva Bhava is appearing, not even real. As real as Ghatakasha is real. Jiva is all, what you are seeing, the content is real only. But that it is a Jiva, that it is born in a certain period of time, and that it will die at certain period of time, all this is imagination. Why is it, with what is it conditioned? It is conditioned by the Dehadi Upadhis. Conditioned by that, the Atman appears to be the Jiva. So what is it actually? Atma only is the truth. And when it is conditioned by a mind and intellect, it is called a conditioned Atma, Jada Atma. Is it not? Jada, first verse only said. Jada Brahma. It's called Jada Brahma. When it is seen through a Ubadhi, then you give reality to it. Actually nothing is born. So he says here, in the next verse he says, Ghadadishu pralineshu ghadagashadayo yatha akashe sampraliyan. And what happens when you when the Ghadadishu pralineshu, when ghatas etc. are dissolved? How can Ghada is broken? Then what happens to the Ghadakasha? It merges into the Mahakasha. So also, when the mind and intellect, which is the Ubadhi of the Jiva, when the mind and intellect is destroyed here means when you have transcended it. That you have to understand as transcending of the mind and intellect. When you have gone beyond the mind and intellect, is there a Jiva? When the mirror is broken, is there a reflection? No. So also, when the mind and intellect have ended, for some reason during deep meditation, my mind and intellect had just stopped. Then, the one who is the Abhimani of the mind and intellect also is gone. Jiva is also not there. Then what is there? Only Atman is there, that only the meditator knows. Now if I tell you, you say no, all that is not possible. That's because we never meditate. If you don't meditate, you can't understand what happens in the meditative experiences, what to do. When the mind and intellect is not there, a tremendous peace, a peace that passeth all understanding descends upon you as it were. And what has happened? The mind and intellect had been, at that moment of meditation, I have transcended it. Then the I is also not there. What is meditation? I is gone. What is I? Jiva. Okay, that's what he says here. Gadadeshu pralineshu gadagashadayo yatha akashe sampraliyande tadvad jiva iha atmani. So what happened to that I? What happened to that aham? It dissolves in the Atman, the self. The reflection, when the mirror is broken, where does it go? It goes back into the whatever, from where it has come in the mirror, it goes back. Praviliyante. It goes back to its origin, and in this case the origin is the Atman. Iha Atman. In this Atma itself, it goes into dissolution. Layam hoda. For the time being. Again it will rise up. That is a different. It is not dead. Ego is not dead. So ego will again and again. You come. That is why many people don't like that idea that meditation will take you to the highest. It will take maybe take you for a few seconds or 1 minute. But again you will come back to your original ego. Jiva. Again and again you will fall down in that pit. Okay. Iha nirvikara advaya Brahman. For the one moment, for a wink of an eye or the flash of a lightning, there's nothing. The Jivan Mukta who just realizes, where is the world gone? I just now saw it. Where is the world gone? Where is the Jiva gone? Okay? That moment there is no Karta Bhokta, no nothing, no I. Nothing is there. The meditator has dissolved in the meditated. That's what happens in the... A moment of meditation takes place. Which Gurudeva used to put, when all thoughts have ended. All thoughts have ended means Manonasham. When all thoughts have ended and no new thought is rising, meaning the Vyaparam of the mind and intellect has temporarily stopped. At that moment is a moment of meditation. No new thought is rising. That is how you will say. The last thought is thoughted and no new thought is rising. It's a moment of meditation. Even to get this type of experience, you have to be daily practicing meditation. Then in some moments you go deep into yourself and the Jiva is not there, nothing is there. Mind is not there, intellect is not there, nothing is there. Only an abiding peace. Obstacle to meditation is sleep. Because mind has become empty. But a meditator who is a practitioner, he is very awake. Because he has conquered sleep. You know, when he is going to sleep, I may not be able to conquer sleep when I am just in waking state. But I can conquer sleep in the meditation seat because for many months or years we have been practicing. So you know the sleep is coming. You become aware. So in the initial stages it's very difficult. You go off to sleep. Then he said, I had a good meditation. What meditation? Meditation it is. Not good meditation. You understand? But the conditions necessary for meditation is pointed out. That mind and intellect should have settled down. Then only it will happen. Okay. So he said, same way, Iha Atmane Jiva Jivas. Where did the jiva go in that moment of meditation? I am not there. You are not there. Nothing is there. Have dissolved itself. If there is a mind and intellect, the avidya is there, in that it will dissolve. You don't have a new word only as is born. Nothing new is born. A new word is the pot space was introduced and removed from my mind. Similar is the jiva utpatti. A new word is introduced in my vocabulary, that is jiva. And that when the mind and intellect is not there for any reason, then the jiva bhava also is not there. Is what he says. Then by transcending the mind and intellect, the ego, which was only the dream child of these very factors. Which factors? Gatadishu, the intellect, the ego. By transcending the mind and intellect, the ego, which was only the dream child of these very factors, this mind and intellect would naturally end. And then what will happen? Along with its dreamy identifications and consequent delusions. So, for a moment you don't have any ego. The sleep itself is a egoless state. In the sleep also there is no ego. You don't know who you are. So there is no ego. There is no jiva. Jiva bhavam is not there. Jiva has gone to sleep. In the deep sleep, what happened? Jiva has slept off. It is not there. Prajnana ghanam. Okay. And where the ego has departed, there rests the supreme consciousness. Ego and its expression called, the jiva and its expression called ego. Both have entered. That moment is moment of a realization of the Supreme. That alone is there into when the mind and the intellect had been transcended and we are admitted into another realm where we experience the limitless pure consciousness. When the human ego is broken, man realizes his godhood. But how to break that ego? We don't know. Don't ask me. I should tell like Bal Subramania, I don't know. If I have broken it only, I can tell you. Then not. I don't know means very easy to get out. How we can, we don't know, by a great sadhana, a type of shraddha in the words of the Shastra and the words of Shruti and the teacher, you transcend. Then only you can break this ego knot. Otherwise we can't. And when the ego is gone, even for it a second, egoless state is a vasana-less, desireless state. And in that state alone, realization is possible. There is no other way. When the individualized I sets, the universal I rises. When the small I is set to rest, small I means ego I, then what happens? The capital I, aham, Brahma, that Brahma consciousness rises. When this is gone, that rises. He said there. And continuing he says, Edhaigasmin khadakashe Rajo dhumadibhir yudaye Na sarve samprayujyante Tadvad jiva sukhadibhi Edha ekasmin ghadakashe. In a one pot space, there is a pot, and inside that there is rajaha, there is dust, dirt. Raja means dust. Raja dhumadibhi, or there is smoke in that. Dhumadibhir yude na sarve sambrayujjante. You cannot say all spaces in the universe have this malinyam, have this, pollution. Just because one pot is polluted, that is an argument which the Purvapakshi puts or the Dvaidins put. That if there is only Eka Jiva, then one pot is become dirty, all pots should become dirty. You understand? Or one Jiva has realized, then all Jivas must realize. Because there is absolute oneness with, which is a wrong argument according to Vedantin. You are taking the Ubadhi and arguing. Actually, what is in that Ubadhi is the Jiva. Is it not? Not the Ubadhi. It is the Ubadhi which becomes contaminated. The air in the pot, but not the space. Space is never contaminated by anything. Neither. Akhandam, Sachidanandam. It is. It is not divided. It is not affected. It is not contaminated. So how can you say that by one pot becoming contaminated, all the pots will become contaminated? So then there is no mukti also for anybody because there will be enough rogues in this world at all times. And they are the jiva, very bad people. That means all jivas are bad. That is what their argument. Who is arguing? These people who are Bahujivavadis. They are sorry. No, Ekajivavadam, they are condemning. And they say, no, that's not possible. Because in that case, one jiva becoming polluted with any wrong things, all jivas will be contaminated. So, Vedanti strongly opposes this. He says not necessarily, because the pot space is not contaminated, only the upadhi is contaminated. For that reason, we cannot accept your argument. This is the stand of the Vedantin. The jivatmas are all different in their sukha dukkhas. They are not one and the same. So hence there must be only many jivas. They argue like that. Because you see such differences in their experiences, such differences in their behavior, such differences in the jivas. So hence there are many jivas. But the Vedantin says, you may be seeing sukha dukkhas, that is ubadhi dosham. It's the mind and intellect is, in the case of jiva, what is the ubadhi? Mind, intellect. Dosha is there, not in the jiva. The pure, changeless, immutable Atma has no such dosha. Then who has the dosha? The mind has. Mind is full of vasanas, mind is full of desires, So the mind, the upadhi is responsible for the variety that you see. Really speaking, there is only one jiva. That is how they establish the Eka Jiva Vadam. There is only one jiva, which because the sambandham, deha the sambandham, because of its relationship with the indriyas, with the mind and intellect, it appears as though contaminated. Okay. In fact, Vedanta holds very much to the Eka Atma Vada. What I have understood, I am telling you, if you are looking at it from the mind intellect, it is Bahujiva Vada. If you are looking at it from the Atma Chaitanyam in it, then it is Ekajiva. This is what I have understood. Whatever, Ekajiva, according to the believers of this philosophy, anyway we will understand there are some other type of philosophers also. Individualized egos together constitute one cosmic ego. Thus, according to them, the seemingly different egos are in reality one, and the supreme ego is Brahman. That is the greatest joke. Supreme ego is Brahman. We allow all types of people to make all types of theories. I don't know. The school, let me read it fully. The school differs differently with the Vedantins. They differ totally from the Vedantins, though to an untrained intellect both would seem to be the same. Because Ekajiva Vada is. But their Ekajiva Vada is different from our Ekajiva Vada. That's what he says. Afterwards he says Ekatma. But if you say, what do these philosophers contribute to? Ekajiva Vada. That is what we are also contributing to. We call it Ekatma Vada also, it doesn't matter. But it appears to be going with the Vedantic, the dualists. He said on this view of the dualists. But these dualists are a separate group, as you can see. The dualists generally are Bahujivavadis. These dualists are saying Ekajivavadam, but their Ekajivavadam is a quixotic Ekajivavadam. Why? Don't get worried. Cosmic ego, which is the supreme most ego. How can it be? How can it be? Don't know. You have to argue and bring them down. Okay? So anyway, don't let it not. There are thousands of such theories. So we shouldn't bother about too much about all that. Now see, he says, this school differs fundamentally with the Vedantins, though to an untrained intellect, both would seem to be the same. The difference are of great implication and philosophically they must hold diametrically opposite conclusions. Contrasted with this theory, the Vedantins believe Ekatma Vada. So in order to escape from such fools, Vedanta said, Ekatma Vada. Ekatma Vada also is dispute only. Dualists also it is dispute. Because all that they said holds. I do not say any difference, except that you can modify it by saying. That is all. Is this appealing to you? If you look at the jivas, look at all the people from their mind-intellect level, are there not many? Is there a dispute about it? Your mind and intellect is different from my mind and intellect. My mind and intellect is different from his mind and intellect. The content is one and the same, like the pot space. That is all we are saying, and that is the truth.
The content is different.
What?
Space is same.
What is content different?
The different contents are there. No? The dust.
That is where now misunderstanding has come. They are saying there may be dust and that and this in there. That is not the content of the space. The space, content of the pot, let it be anything. The content of the jiva spot also is very many different things. Like raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, everything. Malinada, rajogunas.
Dust and smoke are part of the container.
Container, correct. Not the content. Have you understood? The space itself is not contaminated by either the rajas or the raja or the dhuma. But the pot is contaminated. It is the upadhi dosham, not the Chaitanya dosham. Chaitanya has no such dosham. Pot space is immaculately standing there. Even you can put any amount of dirt or spittoon or whatever in that pot. But the space is immaculate, and when the pot is broken, the space merges with the infinite space. Yeah. Air is not the... Air can get contaminated, but Akasha cannot. The definition of Akasha, somewhere I read the definition of Akasha, and it is so beautiful. It can never get contaminated. That is what is called Akasha. Akasha, Avakashatvad. Something like that they have given, and they had explained what is Akasha. Now let us see how to explain it to you. See, there is a mirror which we will equate to mind and intellect. Now there is a reflection. There is a bimbam. There is a pratibhimbam in it. Now the pratibhimbam is not the bimbam. It's only a reflection. But in the case of the pot space, even that difference is not there, because space itself is there in this pot. It is only, we call it pot space. It is only a namam. You understand? You have given, because it is seen in the pot, we call it pot space. Otherwise, Mahakasham. Now there is absolutely no difference between this pot space and that Mahakasha. Inside there you may put anything, any type of dirt or any type of, you can use it for good purposes or bad purposes.
That will be the content only.
Content of the
Content.
it is the content, but it does not affect the pot space in any way. That is what you have to understand. The pot space is not affected.
Yes. The
The
contents of
content
all
is
these
not a
parts.
space.
No, she has also a point. She doesn't want it to be called content. That is all. These are, as I told you so many times, the words cannot really explain many of these things. You have to, only by intuitive understanding you can. There is, the pot space is never contaminated by anything that is in the pot. The smell, dhuma, the smell or anything that is not contaminated. That is understood. So also, you apply this to the jiva. The question, again and again you have to go back to the question. Question is what? That if there is bahujiva vada, that we accept the differences between each individual. If bahujiva vada will explain the differences. But the Vedantin says, you are wrong. Why? Because jiva is equivalent to the pot space. In a pot there is space. Okay? In a pot there is space. And that space is the same as the Mahakasha. In every individual there is the jiva, which is not different from the Atman, the self, which is reflecting in the mind and intellect. It is not different. It has got the same identity like the pot space has towards the pot, the jiva has towards the mind intellect.
The contents which we think as what content, the content.
Now whatever you see, the difference in the jivas is the malinyam which are there in the mind and intellect.
That's why we call it jiva.
What we call jiva.
So jiva is different.
That is the jiva.
Jiva is the thought, no.
Now this
We have already established that the mental vasanas or whatever karmas, etc., that is what makes a particular jiva. The vasanas only are making the you as a different individuality. This Atman expressing through the vasanas only gives rise to this PFT. Is it not? In your own mind. Now, the question is, what is the similarity between the Ghatakasha. Why they give the Ghatakasha Drishtanta? Because it is the nearest. We cannot just throw it off. We cannot do that. That here the Ghatakasha is given only to make this matter very clear to you. Now he says in the Ghatakasha the space that you are seeing is not different from the Mahakasha. That is clear. And whenever the pot is broken, no matter what other malinyam is there, the Akasha goes. When I die, the Akasha in me will go to the space alone. What is the difference there?
Akasha will not go. Akasha remains as is.
They are not separated even.
See that Akasha is saying
No, in a way of saying, Arthavadam it is, in a way of saying, it is there, but it becomes merged. If you don't like the way go, you will say merge. Merge also, no, then what it will happen? What will happen to it? But the space occupied by the pot has to be vacated. No? See, if the pot breaks, what happens to that space? Even when we die also space is vacated. That which I am occupying at this moment, that will be vacated. Where does it go? It doesn't go. It merges. It merges with the total. This is not difficult proposition. So what happens is it becomes, in the same way, the jiva is something like pot space in the body. Body is the pot is the mind intellect pot, let us say. In that, jiva chaitanya, Chidabhasa falls and gives rise to the bhavana, that is, this is a jiva. Jiva is born according to us, according to Gaudapada, not even born. It's only an imaginary perception. Now, you are saying Bahujiva because of the impurities in the mind and intellect, not in the jiva. This is the crux of the point there. Vedanti. Vedanti says the malinata belongs to the not jiva, the mind and the upadhi. Upadhi Vedat Bahujiva. Whatever it is, not individuality. Individuality is jiva. Individuality is jiva. It becomes an individual. Like that pot space makes you think that space is belonging to that pot. Similarly, this jiva is born in the mind and intellect. We don't say there are Bahujivas, we are saying Ekajivavadis. Vedantin is Ekajivavadi, Ekatmavadi. You can put it that way. You understand? We never believed in Bahujivavada. In fact, Mandukya particularly denies Bahujivavada. Doesn't have Bahujivavada in it. If you say it is Bahujivavada, I am sorry. We have upside down only we have understood. Forget about the objector. Now let us make our points clear. Then the objector will become clear himself out. That is, some thinker is saying like that. We need not pay so much attention to him. His argument itself is wrong. That all the jivas put together is the cosmic jiva. That itself must make you think that it is not worth listening to. Okay? At least I think so. Oh, you may have your own view because you are all Vedantic students. I cannot put up. Because I say so, you believe? How do you know there is a son and a God and a father? Because I say so, Padri will say. I cannot say like that. I am a Vedantic teacher. I don't say anything. It is put to you. I can only say the example. I have to clarify only the example. What you get out of it will depend on all the muck that you have collected in your mind and intellect. I'm sorry to say.
I have one objection on this example itself.
That may be. After all, they are also human beings. I have written some examples too. And the guy, instead of clarifying it, is confusing it. What to do? Space can be compared. Atman. Or Jiva is the pot space. Pot space means conditioned by the pot. Conditioned by the pot is called pot space. But really speaking, it is Atman itself. See, pot and pot space. This is Jiva and Atma. Two different examples are given. And there is identity between this and that. In what way? Bahujivavadi says all the pots are not the same. If the all pots, Eka Jiva only is there, then everybody should get realized at one and the same time. Everybody should die at one and the same time or something, which is ridiculous, which does not happen because it's not our experience. So he says it is like this pot and pot space. They are one. Here instead of the pot, we have the body, the mind, the intellect. Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira are there, referring to the pot. And what we have, the reflected or the space which fills the pot. In that way, the absolute content of this Jiva is the Atman Avachedavadam. This is Atman conditioned by the mind and intellect and the Deha, Dehadi Ubadhi. Atman appears to be a individuality. Okay, so what is the pot space there? Jiva is the pot space. Have you understood? The malinyam of the mind and intellect is the dhuma, etc. in this example. Have you understood, all of you? Yes. Now it is clear. So, what he says is, just like this pot and pot space, which never gets contaminated by the malinyams in the pot, the Jiva and the Atma are one and the same, Yagatmavadam or Ekajivavadam, whatever you put it. It's never the same. Ega and Atma itself is the Jiva, and it is not contaminated by the negativities of your mind and intellect. So how many Atmas are there? Ega Atma. How many Jivas are there? Ega Jiva. But if you are looking at the Ubadhis, Bahujivavada, if you are looking at the mind and intellect, many types of mind and intellect. Now, having understood this, Jiva is equated to pot space. How you want to say Jiva Vayaka Jivavada? Even Gaudapada does not go into its argument. That is what you have to see. He only is very clever. He knows people like you are there in this world.
Gaudapada question is clear.
Jiva is not born. Pot space is also not born. Pot space is also not born. Where pot space is born?
It is always one space only.
It is an apparent bhava. It is Jiva bhava. Where pot space is born. We say pot space is not born. Pot space, there is space in the pot. Our understanding that is. Same. Gaudapada goes on putting it this way and that way sometimes. Egatmavada. No, anyway, you must get it clear. Otherwise, our intellect will never allow you to even sleep. Have you understood? When you are looking from the absolute standpoint, a different understanding. When you are looking from the body, mind, vyavahariga level, another understanding. Why should it disturb you? When I reach that level, I know what all these are mrisha. But in this level, I don't know. In this level, how can I know? I am a PFT. Understand it that way. If you look at it from this standpoint, it is Bahujiva Vada. If you look at it from this standpoint, there is no difference between and also always he is talking from this level and he says there is no jiva is born. That is only an imagination. Have you understood? At least you will, unless you say we have agreed, I can't go forward. That is how to I am reminded of Gurukulas. There the classes need not end. You can go on the whole night also they will take class. No need for any class to end.
Guru's wife does not ring the bell.
Guru's wives don't have such freedom. Guru's wife is only the cook. At least some cobweb is cleared, I hope. Have you understood, Amma? Without a doubt? Doubtless knowledge has taken place. So, now hereafter I will also say, if you say Bahujiva Vada is correct, I say okay. Because I know which level you are looking. So if you say Ekajiva Vada is correct, okay. Now I know how to avoid controversies. You have taught me that now. Oh, I understood that. By the time another objector will say, Amma, what is this? You are saying both Ekajiva and Bahujiva. How can that be? This is the trouble. So we must always say from which level, from which level. Okay, I think it is clear. To me it is clear. Now it is clear. So the Jivatmas are all different in their Sukha Dukkhas, in their experiences, in their behavior, in everything they are different. Because of the Vasana, Malinyam that is there in the mind and intellect. Hence they are different. The pure, immaculate Atman expressing through the Vasanas give rise to the Vasanas color your personality, your individuality, and in Jiva. Why did Bhagavan take so much of trouble to create? Otherwise, what is the fun? Variety is the fun of life. There is no variety, what fun he can have by creating you all. So he created like that, I think. By the vasanas which you have accumulated. Now, here, so by soil, and hence this school differs fundamentally with the Vedantins, though to an untrained intellect both would seem to be the same. So, it is not one and the same to say that there is only one consciousness which is all-pervading and to say that there is only one total ego. These group of people are saying there is only one total ego. It is not equivalent to saying there is only one consciousness, all-pervading, Vibhu, Atma. Instead of that, he is saying there is only one total ego. All these egos put together is the Paramatma, which is unbelievable. How can ego be the Paramatma? So, and here Gurudev has given pollution in the pot belongs to the pot, and the foul smell that may emanate from a pot belongs to the air in the pot, not to the space. Space is ever uncontaminated. The space in every pot is me, and the is one and the same. What is in the space is different. The content is different, as she said. Okay. Now I know where we made a mistake, because we have made it a difference as container and the content. But we had not thought about this Rajas and Dhuma at that time. There were only two things at that time. Pot space and the potter. But this is the third thing was introduced, confusion.
And also we are using the word Atma and Jiva interchangeable.
They are interchangeable. But that is a different thing.
But here, as Gautama says, Jiva is not born.
Eh?
Jiva is not born.
Jiva is not born. Even a pot space is not born. You are given a name, Akhya. Samakhya is given. Name is given. Vajarambhanam. That is all.
That is the word. Buddha also says.
So, even Jiva is only a mere appearance or a mere illusion. It's also an illusion. Okay, continue. We put at least some people to sleep. So much we are quarreling that some people took a little nap. Good for them. The Atman and not for the pot space is eternally pure even in spite of the smoke in it, since smokiness, dirtiness, etc. are for the atmosphere in it and not for the pot space as such. Space is never contaminated. If it space is to be contaminated, the sky will have to be cleaned now. That much dirt is here, is it not? In this world, it's not contaminated. Except you go to a place like Bangalore or Bombay. Fully contaminated. Even space is contaminated. This example will not hold good anymore. Enough.
Buddha also took like that only.
I'm going slow only. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyade Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyade. Om